to be lining up as if to go for it. That's a long way on 4th. The Eagles 7, Dallas 7. Pat Summerall with John Madden. There's Gary Anderson, the Eagle kicker, who's been bothered by a bad back. And apparently Ray Rhodes doesn't think he can be successful from 49 yards.
Yeah, this would be a 49-yard. The longest this year for Gary Anderson has been 46 yards. And I think Ray Rhodes felt that he couldn't make it from there, so you either go for it or punt. And I think this is a good decision.
Detmer back to throw. Going deep. No one there. Fryer, the intended receiver.
Good coverage by the Cowboys, but see, that really doesn't hurt the Eagles that much. Had they tried a field goal and not make it, they would have lost 7 more yards because it would go to the point that the kick was. Now it goes to the original line of scrimmage, so the Cowboys get the ball at the 32-yard line. So I think Ray Rhodes felt that he couldn't kick the field goal from there, so his choices were, do I punt? And then, maybe they get the ball at the 20, or do I take the chance, even though it's 4th and 10, and go for it? And if I don't get it, they get the ball here at the 32. And I think that was a pretty good choice.
Herschel Walker split out wide to the right. Hand off Emmitt Smith. A lot of room. Emmitt Smith goes into Eagle territory. That's his longest run of the year. Michael Zordich finally made the tackle.
And he got a block from Larry Allen. I think when you talk about offensive linemen that really put guys on their back more than anyone else, watch 73. Boom! He just gets his guy right there, just drives him, and stays with him. I mean, he gets on a guy and stays with him until the back can get through, to, and beyond him.
Eric Williams, that's Fuller, who's down. Eric Williams delivered a blow to the face of Fuller. They've had an ongoing battle for about 3 years. And Eric Williams clubbed him beside the face mask.
I know, you talk about dominant players on that side, and we showed the block of Larry Allen, and then Eric Williams lines up right next to him. And William Fuller hasn't recovered from that one yet.
This is already, Emmitt Smith's already downfield. Keep watching.
Okay, now here it is right here, and here's Eric Williams, and here's Fuller right there. You say he's gonna drive him, and then he's going to get him. I think it was right
it
there.
Was after Emmitt Smith got out of the picture.
He got beyond there. But I'll tell you, that's not a bad place to run. I mean, those guys are so big, so strong, so powerful, and so dominant that when you can get Eric Williams blocking like that, and Larry Allen, the way he fires out and gets on a guy and stays with it, I mean, you can make a living just running in there behind those two guys.
Greg Jefferson has taken his place.
And Eric Williams is starting to, I think, get some of his confidence back and get some of his aggressiveness back, because when he has his aggressiveness back, he's the most aggressive guy in football.
It's called then meanness, I think.
It's called something you may have to
orneriness.
Keep out of there.
First down is Emmitt Smith again. Inside the Eagle 40. Flag on the play.
But again, you just look how powerful Eric Williams is there. He just took his now. They put the substitute in there, and Eric Williams, it just puts him on his back.
Tripping on the defense, number 94. 10-yard penalty, automatic.
Kevin Johnson is 94.
Yeah, they put Greg Jefferson in here. Now watch what Eric Williams does to him. I mean, he's just so big and so strong. He has things going. I mean, he just gets him driving, staying with him, and they just put him right down in the ground. And then when he puts him on the ground,
fell on him.
He rolls over him to make sure he stays there in the ground. Stay there where you belong, he tells him.
First down,
you stay there.
First at the 30.
You know, how would you like to be a defensive player, seriously, and say, okay, who are you playing against today? I'm playing against old number 79.
And if he doesn't get me, 73 will. I don't want that option.
I'll go find someone else.
Aikman to throw it. Incomplete. Intended for Deion Sanders. Deion might have slipped a bit or was pushed.
I think that's William Fuller over there, still recovering from that blow that Eric Williams hit him. It looked like it's a contact lens that they're working. When he hit him with that blow, he could have just knocked a contact lens out of there.
Knocked parts out.
That's the way they do film. You know, when they do film, they put it under a towel or something like that. Photographers.
Contact. Here's Emmitt Smith. Not much room this time.
Look at Michael Irvin. He's still out there. He and Bobby Taylor are still out there jawing at each other. At some point they're going to have to start throwing a pass to Michael Irvin because he's going to get frustrated too. He and Bobby Taylor just went out there and they just went boom and they just start bumping against each other.
One of the few cornerbacks that's as big as Michael Irvin.
Watch him up there. I mean, that's what they're doing. Everyone else is walking back to the huddle. Those two guys are still out there headbutting each other. You can't scare me. Well, you can't scare me either.
3rd and 9. Aikman back. Kelvin Martin. Enough for a first.
And there's a guy that Troy Aikman likes. It was interesting. He was telling us yesterday that Kelvin Martin doesn't handle a ball above his shoulders well. So he tries to throw everything around his belt. And only a guy like Troy Aikman that can be almost as perfect as he is and as concise and as accurate as he is can even talk like that. He said, I can't throw it up his shoulders. I have to throw it around his waist and then be able to know that and then be able to do it.
That's the end of the first quarter. With the score tied at 7 between Dallas and Philadelphia.
Yeah, we talked about frustration. I think William Fuller's frustrating having to play against Eric Williams. But I also think Michael Irvin is frustrated because he hasn't caught a pass yet.
And Smith. Inside the 10 to about the 8. Zordich made the stop.
Now this Cowboy offensive line is starting to dominate. You know, we're going to have a lead. You always have a lead by Moose, and then Emmitt Smith can either follow it or break away from it. Now we've done a lot of running over here. Now he's going to break some back to this side. You see what he does is he starts to the right, then he feels and sees this crease right back there. And then he just breaks back and gets everyone flowing to the right. Then when they all get going that way, whack, he goes against the crease.
2nd and 1. Gets the carry. He may have gotten the one, maybe not.
Yeah, that time he stayed with his lead. His lead, of course, is Moose Johnston, who's, I think, the best lead blocking fullback in the game. And now Emmitt Smith always starts with him. I mean, that's the #1 play for the Cowboys is that lead play. He always starts with him, and then he'll either stay with him or he'll leave.
3rd and short. At about the 9. And the Cowboys have to call a timeout. That means they have 2 left. 7-7 tie with 13:37 left in the first half. 3rd and about a yard. This took place during the timeout.
Michael Irvin left his helmet there, went over the sideline and talked about a play, and he wants to. He's lined up out there with Kelvin Martin, and they got something worked up.
Aikman on the quarterback sneak, and the surge gets the first down, Dallas.
But on that timeout, Michael Irvin went over to the sideline, and he was talking to him about something that he feels that he can do down there. Talking to his wide receiver coach. He was talking to his head coach. He was talking to his quarterback. He was talking to everyone because this is what he's not too happy with.
I think he's not too happy with all the stuff that's been said about what a good job Bobby Taylor has done.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And Bobby Taylor's on him. And when they played last year in Philadelphia, Bobby played defensive player of the week.
Moose Johnston to the 4. Close to the 3.
The one thing that the Cowboys are doing now, and Ernie Zampese, the offensive coordinator who calls the plays, he's getting his running game going now. You know, and a couple of weeks ago he was being criticized, and the offensive line wanted to run more. Emmitt Smith thought he should run more, and so Ernie goes against Miami and throws every down. So he's going to do what he thinks is going to win the game, not what people think he should do.
This is playing the generous drive. Emmitt Smith got close, not quite.
You know, before the game, I was sitting on the bus, and Nate Newton came on, and he says, you know, today, he said, we're really going to crank it up. He said, watch me today. Nate Newton has lost 30 pounds, by the way. And he said, today I'm going to go after him. And this is what he's doing. Watch Nate right here. Here's Nate. Here's Mark Tuinei and Nate Newton on this side. This is the side that they're taking. Look at this double team. They just get back and they get two guys. I mean, that's a way where they can push between he and Ray Donaldson, they push the defensive lineman back into the linebacker.
Aikman mishandled the exchange with the center, Ray Donaldson. So that's a wasted down.
I wonder if this was going to be a quarterback sneak. You know, for years, the Cowboys didn't have a quarterback sneak. Then they just put one in, but that wasn't going to be a quarterback sneak. That was going to be a load right. That was going to be Emmitt Smith running to the right. Of course, that was a third down play, so the Cowboys have to go for a field goal now.
Chris Boniol made his last 19 inside the 30.
That was a big miscue for the Cowboys.
Was it ever. They get 3 instead of 7. 19-yard field goal by Boniol. Cowboys lead at 10-7. Boys set to kick off again after a 19-yard field goal by Boniol. Witherspoon deep for Philadelphia. And he will handle at the 4. Got a little rally. They shut down the alley. Brock Marion, Jim Schwantz, Billy Davis.
They watch Schwantz come across here, Pat, number 52. He looks to see if there's a blocker, and then once he sees there's not a blocker, he knows that he could really unload on that ball carrier, and he did. You know, you kind of sting and you have your head on a swivel when you're going down there on that kick coverage, and you make sure there's no one that can get you before you can get them, and then when you know that, you can really bring your load.
First and 10, Eagles at their own 25. Ricky Waters. You saw Herschel Walker's over the kickoff return. Here's Emmitt Smith's touchdown for Dallas. Great blocking. And here's Ricky Waters' touchdown for Philadelphia. That accounts for the scoring.
You know, Ricky Waters has gained 10 pounds in the offseason, and he's a lot bigger, and he's a lot more powerful running back as he showed there in that goal line.
He's close to 230. Flag on the play. Waters cut it back, and a yellow flag came flying. Must be against the Eagles.
Yeah, the way Ricky Waters looked, you know it's against the Eagles.
The guy on the right there is, well, he just walked out of the picture. Art Demas, the umpire.
Top block by the offense, number 34. 15 yards, definitively, second down.
Shot blocked by Kevin Turner.
Now what happens, here's Kevin Turner. Now once a defensive player is engaged, once an offensive player is blocking him, he can't come in and chop him because Tolbert was playing on a guy there. See, he was engaged with that tackle, and Turner came in and got him.
That could have been the end of 1 or 2 knees.
And Tony Tolbert has 2 bad knees.
Yeah. Surgery on both in the offseason. Garner split wide to the left, up top of the picture. Detmer back to throw. Garner comes up with a catch. Garner cut back. Dion went for the interception. Didn't quite come up with it. Right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Fox Television Center.
Hey, Pat, how many times have you and John seen this? Barry Sanders make an 18-yard run look like the most exciting 18-yard run. That to pay dirt. He's got 83 yards in the first half. Right now, Green Bay